Gen Z are blunt, right? They tell you on your face what they are thinking. Back then, I was like any other student, clueless. Don't just think about that, what they are going to study, whether they are going to get a job. Think about that they will be a different person when they come back. When experience has to be shared, it should be shared in the form of learning. Knowledge has become, commodity which is there with everybody. Learning is something which comes from experience. You will be outdated someday, and somebody who knows the AI is definitely going to replace you someday.
A very warm welcome and thank you our viewers for joining in LearninGT Talks, a podcast series by Thornton, Bharat. At LearninGT, we strongly believe that good learning is not only confined to textbooks or classrooms, rather it comes from experiences, learnings, and talking to people who have actually walked the talk before us. In this podcast series, we would be getting into a lot of engaging conversation with business leaders, subject matter experts, our own learners who have gone through rigorous learning cycles and have actually made a mark in their respective careers. Today, as a guest, I have somebody who I have known for the past 10 years or so. Having worked with him across organization, I have seen him personally wearing different hats of a friend, mentor, leader, somebody who's an ACCA qualified and leads the learning solutions in Thornton, Bharat. Welcome to the show, Kapil. So, Kapil, I would like to start a little bit about your school days. What kind of a kid Kapil Arora was? Probably somebody who was a backbencher, sitting, always making trouble, or a nerd, or probably the front row sitters. So our audience would like to know who Kapil Arora was as a school student.
No, thanks Rohit for inviting me for this. Right. If I talk about my school days, I was a backbencher. Right. I always been a troublemaker for all the teachers. Bunked lot of classes, right? Used to go out with all the friends, never attended all the classes, attended all the sports events, but I always hated to be in the class, right? So you can call me a troublemaker for all the teachers.
So I think after listening to your answer, we can easily conclude that probably backbenchers are the people who are most likely to be successful. I think our audience would be happy listening to this.
So I can relate to one thing, that backbenchers, as a backbencher, I was not having, any kind of insecurity, right? There was nothing to lose, right?
Exactly. Kapil, now I would like to talk about a little about your ACCA journey. So we guys in and out, are into the same profession. So we know what ACCA qualification means, or in general, what ACCA is all about. I think you took a very conscious call to do ACCA some 10, 12 years back. At that point of time, a lot of people might not have even heard about ACCA. Kya ACCA hota hai? ACCA even did not have a lot of footprints in India at that point of time. So what prompted you to go for this ACCA qualification? Whether it was a peer pressure, सब कर रहे हैं तो चलो मैं भी कर लेता हूँ. What exactly was there in your mind? Because आज की डेट में भी when we speak to students directly, हमें उनको कन्विंस करने में, उनके पेरेंट्स को कन्विंस करने में, it takes a lot of doing to us that what ACCA is. अभी भी लोग उतना रिलेट नहीं कर पाते हैं at times, especially the parents of students, the older generation. So आपके केस में क्या था? What exactly was the reason of you opting ACCA as a qualification?
So I'll just answer it into I'll give multiple answers for this. So first of all, I like to correct. It was not 10, 12 years. It was 20 years back, right? I started back in 2004. So as I said that I was not a good student at all, right? So I was not studious, and ACCA is nothing but a chartered accountancy, right? So that time choosing ACCA, it was like unknown territory for me. So back then I was like any other student, clueless, right? I didn't know what to do, what others are doing. People used to tell me that कि मैं तो ये करने जा रहा हूँ, मैं ये करने जा रहा हूँ. I found it very crazy that how people know about that, what they want to achieve, what they want to do, right? And I am on the other side, me, my friends, all the backbenchers were clueless. So then I think I was having only one dream that time, right? I want to go abroad. Right? I want to go to UK. I don't know how it came, when it came, but then I started researching around that kaise jayenge, kya hoga. I have taken admission in one of the UK university there in Leeds. And from there, I think when all my friends were doing ACCA, I thought, let me try hands there, right? And I found this interesting, and people said that it's a challenging thing. I thought, let's take a challenge, and I've taken the bet there.
Right. So, Kapil, I think your risk-taking ability goes back to 20 odd years. Doing ACCA, then deciding to go especially to Europe or London to do ACCA, that itself is a very big risk you took at that point of time. So now, Kapil, if you reflect your journey, how much of a contribution leaving your comfort zone, going abroad, studying in London, probably as I know personally, you did a lot of odd jobs also there to survive, typically like a lot of students do. So what do you think? How did it contribute to your holistic development? What if you would have done ACCA from India? Would we see a different version of Kapil Arora? How your overall growth, apart from academics or from a personality perspective, has happened because of you taking a call to move out of your comfort zone and doing your ACCA?
So I would say that not just ACCA, but today anybody who is going abroad or far from their parents, I think, doing odd jobs. I have worked in Burger King, right? Used to make burgers myself. Worked in Tesco's. I had to clean the floor many a times. Used to stack up all the inventories properly. Be stand on till. Right. It has given a very different perspective about life. And that time I was a student also. And UK is the country where you don't get house help. Right. You need to do everything of your own, mopping of your own, cleaning of your own, even cooking of your own, right? So these kind of things which are, which gives the exposure, as well as these things makes you independent. I would say that this has changed my entire perspective towards life, entire perspective towards work, that any work which you are doing is not small. And you will be seen with the same, same thought, same view, right? Even you are doing any kind of job in UK, right? So that was the perspective.
I think it makes you more of a transformational individual rather than only focusing on academics and things. It's more of a holistic and a complete package which gets developed when you get these kind of
exactly
courses.
Right. So that's what I suggest to all the parents, to all the students, that they should give their kids a chance. Right, when they are asking that they want to go, don't just think about that what they are going to study, whether they are going to get a job. Think about that they will be a different person when they come back.
Right. So I guess one clear message for our learners and viewers that you need to walk out of your comfort zone to be successful in life. There are no shortcuts. Nothing comes easy.
Exactly.
So, Kapil, another interesting question, or probably something which we would like to know, is that when you talk about ACCA, a lot of graduates would think of audit, taxation, or finance and accounting related jobs. Probably, I think you have also done similar kind of jobs in your initial career. I have seen you at a point where you were doing consulting in the morning, preparing content in the evening, and tomorrow when I called you up, you were delivering a session somewhere. So how did that transition happen, that from a hardcore accounting professional qualification, now you are into the learning space? So why this transition happened, and what exactly is the story behind this?
Every like any other chartered accountant or ACCA, I started my career in finance only. I started working with the Wipro BPO when I came back to India, and that time nobody knew ACCA at all. Hardly 1,000 or 500 people, I would say, were there who were doing ACCA or who were ACCAs. It was very difficult for anybody to talk about that, what ACCA is. And then sending your CVs to them that, that hire me, that I am chartered accountant. So they didn't know that what ACCA is. So that was a difficult time. So, however, got an opportunity to work with Wipro BPO and blessed to go out for them to bring some accounting process from Hungary. Right, so went out, brought the process here, implemented the process here. So that's something which I was doing. However, I was not good in numbers, or I would rather say that I used to hate what I am doing. Right, and suddenly I got a chance that go and train some students on something. Right. There I tried my luck, right? I tried that, let me just go and talk about that, what I have done, how I have done, So when I did that, somehow it clicked. I enjoyed a lot, and people also liked it, right? People were able to find out that, some backbencher is talking to these guys who can relate to that. They are not just looking at the studies; they are looking at the experience. और जब आप सिर्फ experience की बात करते हो, तो it becomes very easy for somebody to adapt what I am talking about, right? So that was the journey, and I would say that push or that opportunity which was given to me has changed me again. That it brought out a training or a teacher out of me, right? So that's where the training thing started.
I think great insight, Kapil. I think something which started more of an accident or a trial and error kind of a thing probably became your passion over a period of time, and probably now you are known for learning and training. Your name is synonym in the industry when it comes to learning or training interventions. Kapil Arora is a name to go to. So Kapil, now I would like to shift a little focus of what you're currently doing, especially at Grant Thornton and LearninGT. So was there a specific reason of starting LearninGT as such? Was there a market gap which you identified? I know I was involved in a lot of discussions initially with you, but still it will be good to have a fresh perspective for our viewers as well. That what exactly the problem LearninGT is solving right now from a market perspective, what exactly the offerings are, and how the idea of LearninGT actually came into the existence.
So, Rohit, it is, LearninGT is very close to my heart, so I can talk about this for days, right? Not just for hours. So, I would say that, when I started this training thing, right, and I got opportunity to work with, all other big consulting firm also, but in similar domain. I've been looking at the training thing there. I've been trainer myself. Then, back in 2017, when I got the opportunity to work in Grant Thornton and initiate Learning and Development Academy, which is LearninGT now, the idea was that, when I met everybody, all the partners here, and I explained that how we are going to set a process where we can consolidate all the knowledge base which Grant Thornton is having today. Because if you look at the Grant Thornton, we have so many subject matter experts, so much of knowledge sitting with everybody. We thought that why not to take this knowledge to the market and to other people? Because skill today is a much bigger, I would say, a problem statement, right? There are a lot many things changing around us. Technology is taking over. Lot many regulations are coming up. New government initiatives which are coming up. All these things brought lot many challenges and gaps around us. We thought that why not to consolidate everything and take this as a as a knowledge hub to the people outside GT, and that's how the LearninGT was born. And if I just look at one thing, how we thought of doing things differently, the idea was that people were running colleges, people were running institutes earlier also, but we thought that when people are running institute, what they are doing and how we can be different. Then I realized that many people are calling us and asking that, why don't you share your experience? Then it clicked us that when experience has to be shared, it should be shared in the form of learning, right? Rather than just a concept, right? So there the difference came in. And now if I talk about from last 8-9 years, we've been successful in sharing our experiences to the learners, to the students, to the professionals also. And I'm sure they got the benefit of what we have trained them on.
Right. Kapil, taking a little clue from your answer itself, and I think this is one common thing which I also personally face when I'm talking to clients. Not exactly face, but one very permanent question which is asked in all our client pitches and all our client interactions, that Grant Thornton typically is a consulting firm. It's known for taxation, advisory, consulting work. How does learning fit into this, and what is that one value proposition which you bring to the table? You rightly said that if you talk about any professional qualifications like ACCA, CMA, CFA, there are X number of small, big institute, a lot of edtech organizations which are providing these courses. Similarly, when we go to corporates, there are specialized training organizations which we are offering different, right from technical, professional to even softer skills. So what value proposition Grant Thornton brings into the table, and what is that which our Grant Thornton clients, learners, they should look for when they are enrolling for any of the training programs by Grant Thornton?
So Rohit, today Grant Thornton is doing a lot in learning, right? And how this started, again, if I just go one step back, I told you that skill is a big problem today, right? And everybody wants to develop their skill, be it a professional. If you see AI is coming in, everybody needs to develop on AI. Any regulation is coming in, they need to develop themselves on that regulation. A new accounting changes coming in. At the same time, students who are learning the old concepts in the colleges, how they should be up to date, what industry is doing, and all that. So that was, that's what we thought that, I see consulting firms as, or Grant Thornton or any other consulting firm as a solution company. There is a problem and we are the one who create the solution around this. So when we are the solution company, I thought that let's solve the biggest problem of, skill development, where we can come up and take this one step ahead and see that how we start working on that, where our professionals are looking for skill updation, our students looking for skill updation. At the same time, colleges, universities are looking at that, what industry is looking at, because every university, every college, in fact, the new education policy is talking about how industry can come to academics and solve the problem of that the industry academia alignment.
Right.
So that's how, the reason to bring in LearninGT or a learning thing within Grant Thornton or a consulting environment. And so far, we are giving them the perspective that how industry thinks, right? They are good at what they are learning as a concept. But when it comes on case studies, when it comes on industry alignment, when it comes on, how to solve a particular problem, there they need support. And we are becoming that support for the industry right now, or for the academics right now.
So I think once we add conceptual knowledge to experiential learning and practical exposure, that's where the LearninGT comes into action, and that's the one solution which
absolutely
I assume LearninGT is taking to the market. So Kapil, you spoke about the new education policy. What I understand is that and I assume LearninGT is also very aggressively working with a lot of educational institutes as well. What I've observed that with a lot of these educational institutes, the curriculum which they follow, be it BCom, undergraduate courses, even BTech, or in fact even MBAs, and there is a lot of debate whether MBA has any relevance right or not, with all due respect to all the MBAs, because I myself is an MBA qualified. So do you think in the near future, and with so much of AI talk right now going about on, that in the near future, do you see universities going for a complete shift in their curriculum? Or it would only be that, industry, academic partners coming in, telling them how to do it, what to do it? What's your opinion on that?
I would say, Rohit, that what is happening around us today is that, one, that degree is not losing its relevance. Degree is still relevant, and people who are doing MBA are still relevant. The only thing which is changing is that, the universities who are running the curriculum, as you can see, right, in AI, things are moving very fast, right? When we started looking at it, OpenAI was there, now Claude are there, lot many other models, lot many other companies who are coming up, and everything is changing. Be it accounting, cybersecurity, be it, how we are automating all that stuff. It's very difficult for universities to, catch up with what industry is doing. It's becoming very difficult for them to find out relevant trainers also.
Right.
Because trainers are nobody but the professors, right? If market or industry is not ready, you can assume that how those professors can be ready. They are doing their, their bit, they are learning everything. I'm not saying that they are not teaching good. They are teaching good also. But the thing is that how they should be more aligned, how they should find out the relevant people who can go as a speaker and talk about this, how they can get case studies from the industry, what is happening there, and how those case studies can be solved by the students or the professors there to align the curriculum. We are today helping universities to map their curriculum, to run their curriculum, and to become relevant for that matter. And I won't say that degrees are going to leave or lose their relevance in near future. They are not going to leave the relevance. They are going to, or I would say there is a further refinement which needs to happen, which is happening. Most of the universities have already started doing that. And there is no option, I would say, that anyways they have to do something.
Right. And I think you're correct. What we are experiencing also, that with a lot of universities, especially for their postgraduate and even for undergraduate programs, apart from academics, they are also focusing that how probably their students can spend more time working in the industries during that period itself. We have seen, in undergraduate programs, the internship period, rather than at my time, it used to be only 2 months summer internship. Now that has gone up to 6, 7, 8 months. And universities are even open, allowing them to skip exams if they are working, and there are chances of them getting placed to, those organizations. So that shift actually is coming in from that perspective.
No, true. If I relate to our time, right, I completed my graduation in 2004. So that time, it was very difficult to get the guidance from any expert coming from the industry. There were hardly anybody who was coming, to our college. It was very rare to find somebody who become your mentor, right? Which in today's world, it's quite easy, right? And we feel that, that kind of thing which is happening now, changing the mindset completely, putting students on job first is the approach which is been followed by universities, and we are helping all these universities to get onto that level.
Exactly. So Kapil, we spoke about AI also, and probably we go to any forum, the moment we walk out of the studio and speaking to any client, AI is something which is going to come in conversation. It has become very, very common discussing AI in different forums. What do you think the kind of impact AI is going to have on the learning space? Just giving you an example, and probably then I'll allow you to answer this question, is that when we are speaking to clients, I remember an example, I was speaking to one of the clients. The client says, I want a training program delivered and developed by a human being. I don't want an AI bot speaking and delivering that training program. And I was pretty amused by that conversation. That was a very honest conversation with the client. At the same time, we go to different forums. We have solution bots who are actually creating the entire training program. So if I just take an example for an understanding of our viewers, that to develop a 20-hour module, it might take us good 3 to 4 months for us to create that module, wherein there are talks that AI can do it within hours, if not minutes. So what do you think? Is it going to have a significant impact on the way we learn? Would classroom training still have relevance? Would people still prefer Kapil Arora standing there, delivering the session, and that being applauded? Or you think we'll have avatars of Kapil Arora and our trainers going and delivering the training programs?
So Rohit, this is, I think, quite a relevant question, and I've been asked every time. Today, it's not about that, Kapil Arora or any other trainer. It's about that what is happening, that students are asking that why should I come to class at all? Or why should I go to a structured training also? When everything is available online, if you go to YouTube, everything is there.
Exactly.
If you go to, let's say today, if you want to ask anything, you ask ChatGPT, it will give you the answer. Now, if you look at, knowledge has become, commodity, which is there with everybody. Now, if you compare me, right, a backbencher and a first runner, right, who's very studious, always come first, will have access to the same kind of knowledge, right? But can I say that both are same? Maybe yes, maybe no, right? So for that matter, we need to see that what and how we tell them that what kind of difference we are creating. So I would say that learning is something which comes from experience rather than just a knowledge or a concept which has been shared by, let's say, any AI tool or any YouTube video, right? You can definitely learn, but the only thing is that once you get to learn about experience of somebody, you learn better, right? And you don't forget also, right? So that is how I would say that having trainers, having somebody in person, or somebody who is the instructor for a program is going to have its own relevance. It's not going to lose the relevance. People are not ready to learn from computers as of now, right? Because the moment you see that, it has given me some knowledge, then you see that why I retain that knowledge. I can ask this question anytime, right?
Exactly.
So you need to learn that how to use certain tools, but learning from tool itself, and every time learning from tool itself may not be that relevant, right?
Right. So I think, Kapil, what I understand is that when it comes to a little bit of transactional knowledge, probably a quick 10-15 minutes bite is still which AI could help in. Probably there's a new concept which has come in. Probably I just need to understand. I don't have time to attend a formal training program. I can still do it from AI. But when it comes to the complete experiential learning experience, that's where the physical presence, the physical experience sharing, the human touch is always going to remain, is what I understand. So, Kapil, we have touched upon a lot about AI. We have also spoken about how LearninGT is impacting a lot of educational institutes and the students studying there. So what do you think as a finance professional, somebody who is there in finance, either starting their career or already as established finance professional with a lot of AI and tech coming in and things changing overnight, probably what we are learning today might not be relevant even after, say 4-5 months. I'm not even talking about years now. As they say, the biggest cohort which would be disrupted now would be the cohort for experts, as they put in. So what advice do you want to give to these, finance professionals, especially who are currently stuck in their career or going through a mid-career crisis? What skills they should focus on right now to ensure that their careers are aligned and their careers and then they themselves stay relevant in the age of AI and technology?
Yeah. So I think we have seen many changes around us, right? We started with when accounting, system was getting overhauled, right? We were going to a new accounting standard. Then we have seen ESG got introduced. Then we have seen, GST came in. All these, changes we have seen which were more aligned to strategic changes for India, particularly, right? There were many things which India wanted to do, but at the same time we have seen changes around tech, right? We have seen that how data has been seen very differently. Data science came in. Many people were using different tools to analyze the data. Now AI is there, right? So we have seen that kind of change which is there. But I look at all the experts today. The only thing where everybody gets stuck is that it's very difficult for them to unlearn many things, which is making things very difficult for them. So the advice which I will tell them that, be up to date, find out the area where they need to upskill themselves, right? Especially on tech side, because the role of accountant then versus role of accountant today is very different. They are required to work on certain tools, and they also need to look at that how they can bring in efficiency in what they are working on. And efficiency can only come when they know many tools which can support them allow to work around, right? So that's where we are running various programs around like AI in finance, AI in marketing and all that, because I don't think that without these there would be any future, right, for any expert tomorrow.
I think ignoring AI is not an option now.
It's not at all an option, right? You have to have that kind of understanding. If you won't know, right, so you will be outdated someday, and somebody who knows the AI is definitely going to replace you somewhere.
Perfect. So, Kapil, now probably we spoke about so many transitions with AI and other things coming on. The ACCA qualification as such has also seen a lot of transitions. When you did your ACCA, probably now 15, 20 years back, you can correct the number of years for me. So at that point of time, how was the examination pattern? Were the centers easily available? In comparison to the youngsters, the 18, 20 years old, the Gen Z, which we call them, when they want to pursue ACCA, how things are different? Are they more easy for them, and probably or more difficult? Has the qualification over the years become more smooth? Or more easy for the younger generation? Any advice you would like to give? Because when we talk about Gen Z, it's a very pressing topic. You open LinkedIn, you have whole feed flood, as in our feeds flooded with debates over Gen Z, the kind of attitude they bring in to the table. With all due respect, there is no judgment which is being passed. It is just a discussion which is happening, whether their working style is right or not, whether millennials were the right generation, the way they used to work. So, as in, I would like you to answer this into two parts. One, from more advice you would like to give them, considering the way qualification has moved on, and second, how has your experience been working with Gen Zs and also training them? Is there a difference how millennials used to take training or approach training, or is it a difference how Gen Zs do it? I would just if you could elaborate on this a little.
So I think Rohit, the way you have asked about ACCA, when I have done that, right? And that time, ACCA was a very different qualification. And as I said, that nobody knew in India, at least. I had to go, or I had to choose UK as the option to do my ACCA. But it's very different now. You have, this is very much renowned in India, and there are many opportunities, many institutes which are available. Content is there. At that time, nothing was there, right? It was very hard to arrange all these things that time. So that was the case. But now today you get many mentors, who can guide you what to do and all that. So this is something, which has created a big relief for all the students. They can do things in India. And I have seen ACCA as a qualification, though I'm not saying because I'm ACCA, but I have seen ACCA as a qualification which is, transforming themselves, right? Every time whenever they feel that the change is required, right? If you look at, right, so what is happening at my time, it was pen and paper exam used to happen. They moved from pen and paper to computer-based exam. They adopted, tech quite early. They started talking about that the finance professional needs to have the understanding on, data analytics, data science and all that, how they learn the tools. Now they are talking about how AI is relevant. So I have seen ACCA is much relevant in every single year, right? How they kept their relevance, alive when the shift is happening around the technology. Worldwide, people are not, choosing accounting as the career. They are moving towards tech. But on the other side, India is, very much a service-based industry for the entire world. And we see that many people are still choosing finance. So to be up to date, ACCA has brought all that, elements into their curriculum. And I would say that it's relevant always, right? Whenever any new change will come up, you may find that ACCA has come up with the new curriculum and covering that area as well. Now, you have also asked me regarding the new age students or new age, which is Gen Z, right? My experience with Gen Z is, I would say, very different, right? How Gen Z feel today, right? Gen Z are blunt, right? They tell you on your face what they are thinking, what they are expecting from you. In my age, right, I was always asked that don't ask questions from your seniors. If they said something, the only thing is boss is always right. Follow that. But Gen Z today don't believe in that kind of statement. They believe that if they have any question, they will ask you on your face. And they are not going to bother about that what you are thinking or what anybody else is thinking. The other way Gen Z thinks about is that they want to move fast, right? When they want to move fast, they know that how to, get the things done fast. They know how to use technology faster than anybody else. So to that extent, I would say that, my experience is very different working with Gen Z in a good sense.
Perfect. Kapil, I think a lot of insights which you gave about how ACCA as a qualification has transitioned. I think it is also very relevant for us since we talk to a lot of parents, as I told you earlier also, who want to enroll their, kids to the ACCA qualification. They are full of doubts. People coming from tier 2, tier 3 cities, they haven't had exposure of working in a metro city or even staying in a metro city. They have a lot of reservations that we would be investing so much of money into ACCA qualification. It's not even a formal college degree as such when they start comparing them with BCom and MBA, because typically people prefer doing a graduation and ACCA along with. So a lot of doubts people have, and now when we communicate to them that how ACCA as a qualification has changed and transitioned, I think that trust starts coming in the qualification itself, and that's where they are also able to persuade and take decisions with respect to that. So Kapil, thank you so much for coming over for our podcast. I think I have had numerous, off-camera conversation with you, separate discussion, a lot of debates, our views not matching in. Still, for me, there were a lot of stories which came out today. It was really an enriching sessions, and I hope our learners and viewers, get a lot of exposure and practical insights from this. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot, Rohit. Thanks for.
If you really like this video and you would like to access more such content, please like and subscribe to our channel.